This episode is brought to you by Trailer Park Yard Games, where over 28 games are delivered directly to your party. We park the trailer, you party. Right, yeah. Exactly. Well, and I have a confession because I consider myself an entrepreneur, but I don't know how to spell it. So I don't think I do either. I have to speak it into my phone, and that's how I say it because I don't know.
I'm the Indian here, and we're really good at spelling, as you can see from the past spelling bees. And so I can spell entrepreneur, but that's because
come on.
E-N-T-R-E-A.
I'm just kidding.
P-R.
I don't know, but someone check her because if she's gonna mic drop her spelling bee.
R-E-N-E-U-R.
Sure. I won't know if
we're gonna look it up.
Let's have a chat, talk this and that with PB and Jaisy.
Well, I'm Bill Stedham of the PB and Jaisy podcast, and to my right,
I'm Sarah. Hi, Bill.
How you doing?
I'm good. I am the P because Sarah Paget. I'm the P in the sandwich.
Good morning, guys. I am Jaisy. I am the Jaisy to this PB and Jaisy sandwich. Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, it is so cool to see everybody today, and we've got with us Tyler Jones. Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me on today. And like you said, my name is Tyler Jones. Work with you guys at Century 21 Judge Fight Company.
What?
Yep, absolutely love it here. It's been great coming on board and working with everybody. And I'm just a new realtor, getting started in the game, but been very experienced in real estate, owned some properties. And I think that's kind of why we're here to talk about today, talk about some things for younger folks and just kind of getting started off and trying to get started on the right foot of life.
Well, that's correct. So I want to do a contrast. You're about 29, right?
Just turned 30.
Just turned 30.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know, it was a rough birthday. I'm not going to lie. People are like, happy birthday. And I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yes.
Bill
has graduated by 2.
Yeah. So Tyler and my daughter are the same age. She just turned 32. 30. Also. There we go.
And Bill is about to turn 60.
Yes. The good part about that is a lot of meals now are cheaper.
Oh, that's true.
Because he forgets to pay.
Yeah.
And I think your health insurance is cheaper, all sorts of stuff, right?
No, health insurance is not cheaper.
Worse?
Yeah, your insurance increases. But let's talk about a contrast. So here I am, 30 years old. That's 30 years ago, right? Let me look at my life 30 years ago. Divorced?
Twice.
Yeah, but
no, just once.
Which one? Okay, the first one.
All right. So here I'm divorced. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I don't make enough money to pay my bills. I don't own a house. And I'm trying to figure out how not to lose everything.
So you found an Ann.
So he found Sugar Mama.
No.
And all of his problems were solved.
That took some time before that happened. But let's talk about Tyler. Here we got Tyler. He comes in. He owns multiple properties. He's a pilot. He likes to mountain bike. He's got a brand new 3-month-old baby girl.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting any sleep?
I just got a message from one of our guests, and they want to know if you're single, which sounds like you just had a baby. So, but that still means you could be single.
No, I'm a happily married man, so
okay.
I am sorry about that.
I'm sorry, listeners.
Yes,
do you have a brother?
He's in the Navy, so maybe when he gets out, we can introduce somebody.
Okay. That way. I'm not asking, by the way. It was a gift.
We're happily married. We're all fine.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Michael and see what's going on there. So let me ask a couple questions, though. So you're originally from Arizona, correct?
Yeah, the Phoenix area, and for people who are very familiar with Arizona, Mesa and Queen Creek is where I grew up at, between those two cities.
I've visited out there many times. It seems every time I go, it's the middle of the summer, and it's 130 degrees outside.
Yeah, sounds about right. That's one of the reasons why I live here.
Okay.
So what brought you to Texas, though?
Well, when I was younger, my parents got divorced, and when I was about 5 years old, 5 or 6, and my mom ended up moving to Texas in 2005. So I would come visit for summer break, Christmas break, different things like that. And then upon graduating, it was something that just kind of ready for a change. I mean, as much as I loved Arizona, I was tired of looking at the dirt and the rocks and the cactus. and really enjoyed the climate out here, the trees, just the more bigger city. You know, Dallas was a beautiful place. So.
And the people, right?
Yeah, and the people, man, they are great.
You love us.
Now, do you live in Ennis? Because you work in the Ennis office.
No, I work at the Waxahachie office.
Waxahachie.
Actually.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And I live in Red Oak, but right there, right by Waxahachie. So.
And for y'all, we're saying it right. It is Waxahachie. It is not Waxahachie. Okay.
Yeah, that's the first way to
It's
tell
not.
when somebody's not from here.
Yes.
When they look at your ID, you're like, oh, Waxahachie.
Well,
Waxahachie.
I've got to go back and ask a question, though.
Of course.
You just said, I believe, I can play back the tape, that you moved here for the trees. I have never heard anybody
Yeah.
say that
Where
they
are the
moved
trees?
to North Texas for the trees. Where are those trees at?
Have you looked around out here? You've
We have
been
a
to
lot
Phoenix.
more than Arizona. For
Yeah,
sure.
we have shrubs and concrete is what we have
that's why he
around out
moved
there.
to Red
so.
Oak, Texas. He thought there would be red oak trees, but then he moved there and was like, oh, darn.
There
Okay,
is
well,
one at the City
All right.
Hall.
Yeah, well, more trees than what we've seen before, and grass, and just wide open spaces and everything like that.
Fantastic.
So I
So
loved it.
let's get into investing, because you don't just own one home, you own several. So tell us about that. How's that happen?
Well, it was something that my mom really instilled with me with my stepdad growing up. They were very big supporters. We read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad many years ago, and that was something that really just kind of changed our mindset on how to look at money, how to continue to grow, because we were all kind of in the boat of, you know, you go to work, you get a good job, you get a paycheck, you pay your bills, and you just kind of, you know, what he refers to as a rat race. You're just keep working month in and month out, pay the bills, just keep them away as long as you can, until it's time to retire, and hopefully Social Security's there, and maybe you got a 401k and you can be all right and live in a 55 up community and be happy.
Right.
You know, so they were really interested in trying to grow the wealth. So, and my stepdad was a real big driver of that aspect of it. So we started just kind of buying fix and flips, and this was back in Phoenix right before the big housing boom happened. So, and we were able to get some too right after this thing started going up. They were
So
able
you
to
bought
sell.
your first house at 17?
Yeah, 17, about to be 18, right when I first moved out here.
Awesome. What
So-
took you so long?
I know,
Yeah.
right?
How dare you?
And that was even before, and it was a rental property before I even bought a house that I lived in. I was still living with my parents at the time, and I had a rental property.
At 17, living with
Yeah.
your parents? Can you imagine?
I know, right? It's crazy when you look back and think about it. And that was back, as you guys in real estate know, when we used to be able to do contract for deeds.
But
So-
you were not a realtor at this point.
No,
Okay.
no. I was not a realtor at this point. I was just interested in real estate. I knew that I just had a lot of faith in the asset, and I really like that you can control it. That's my favorite thing about real estate over other investment portfolios is I have full control. I get to, you know, screen my tenants who I want to look for. I can choose who, you know, we rent the property, choose the terms, the price, choose how we're going to repair it, maintain it. I love that control aspect of it, of the entire investment there. So we were able to find this one. I actually found it, I mean, people never believe me when I say this, but I found it on Craigslist. And it was a lady who was going through a divorce. She wanted $3,000 and takeover payments. She's like, I just can't make another payment on this house. She's like, if you can help pay me move, you can have it. So we did what was called the contract for deed, which I know they're kind of frowned upon now in Texas, but this was 2009, and borrowed the money from my grandma. I called up grandma and said, hey, I have this opportunity. And I told her, hey, I made a kind of amortization schedule for her and said, if you loan me the $3,000, I'll pay you back X amount of dollars every month for the next 5 years. You'll end up making, I think it was just over $5,000. And that was the deal.
You took grandma a business
Wow.
plan, and she
Exactly.
said, "Okay."
Yeah, and she said, okay, we'll
I
invest
love
with
it.
you. So
That's really smart.
So that's what you did differently than most kids. Most kids just say, "I can have some money," but you came to grandma with a plan and a way to prove that you were bringing her money back. Good for you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. I didn't want to be a moocher when it came down. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, I think everybody hates asking for money, but
Yep.
when it's like, hey, this is different than me asking for a handout or a loan. This is me saying, hey, do you want to invest? Here, I found this deal. Here's the structure of it. Here's what we can do. Is this something you're interested in? And she said, absolutely. I believe in you. And we set it up and went from there.
That's
and then,
awesome.
I still have that property today.
So you have it today. Is it paid off now, or
No, it's not paid off. I actually did a cash out refi on it not long
fantastic.
ago to get it from their name into my name, and then was able to use that money, and that's how we helped acquire another property. So
Awesome.
it's all about
and you
leverage.
paid grandma back, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's the first thing I did.
Okay,
Before I did
good.
anything else was pay grandma back with her interest and
interest.
everything on there. So that she
we
had
don't
a
want
good investment.
any grandmas trying to reach out to us on this podcast trying to get to you.
Where's my money?
Yeah, no, exactly.
That dang Tyler done told me you gonna pay me back.
So how many houses what's your investment strategy look like? How many do you pick up a year?
Recently, we haven't been doing a whole lot. As everybody knows, the housing market has been a little bit more competitive in today's market. So it's just something that I've kind of taken a step back on. on investing, I'm always looking for deals, but everything as an investor standpoint, when you get into a multiple offer situation, that's not always ideal,
Right.
Because the most important part about buying investment property is the price you buy it for. It's the only thing you can control. You're never going to be able to control what it sells for. The market's going to dictate what it rents for. You don't know what repairs are coming, but the one thing you can control is what you pay for it. So that's the most important thing. I never want to overpay on these properties. So the last few years, I've kind of just been holding back, but our other properties have grown in appreciation. So I have more equity in there. So if I find the right deal, I'm ready to jump on it. But I just haven't really acquired anything in the last couple of years just because I haven't found something that I think would fit exactly what I'm looking for right now.
Well, I think that's very wise. I think a lot of people hear that, hey, I can make money by investing, so they try to hop in at the height of the real estate market, and it's not the smartest time to get in there, overpay for a property as far as investment, because you're not going to get that return that you want to get. Just out of curiosity, did you say you're also a pilot?
Yes, I am. That was more of a hobby of mine and kind of lifelong dream. I've always been interested in airplanes. So in 2014, I was driving by Grand Prairie Airport one day, and they had a big sign out front that said, "Learn to fly here."
And you said, okay.
Yeah, I said, well, I don't have
Sounds
anything.
good to me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have anything going on today. Let me turn in here and see what they have. And ever since then, I was hooked and have been flying. And now I have a Midway Flying Club out of the Midway Regional Airport in Midlothian, Waxahachie area. We have a plane that we all share, so have access to
Awesome.
a plane close by. Yeah, me and my wife have gone. I've taken many friends up. We go look at Christmas lights in the wintertime.
How
Go
cool.
get $100 hamburgers, as they call it in the aviation world. Go fly somewhere, Stephenville. You can walk over to Hard Eight Barbecue. Gone down to the coast, got some shrimp, and just
That
a really
is
great
so
way to spend.
awesome.
Wow.
Spend time with people, and I love taking people up for airplane rides, especially if it's like their first time. I've done so many birthdays for friends of mine's kids. Hey, my son just turned 5. He would love an airplane ride, and
So are you you're rentable? We can rent you
yeah, for the most part.
Are you looking
for the right
more,
price, right?
Yeah, for the right price. Yeah.
Are you looking for more friends?
Yeah, I can always have more
Okay,
friends.
cool.
So
All right. Awesome.
You have to have a pool or something cool though, to give him.
yeah,
No.
exactly. We got to trade back.
And nothing.
I'm looking for somebody with a boat. If anybody's out there with a
Oh,
boat,
my dad has a boat. My
We
dad
have a
has
Prius and an SUV.
And two
Those
kids.
yes,
Give me
and
your
2
kids.
crazy kids that will probably pull your hair and bite your ankles.
And break your washer.
And if you have any,
Yeah.
and if you have any Boudreaux's butt paste, please hide that when they come over to play.
Now I have some questions for you
Of
because I would identify you or label you as unique, and not every 30-year-old is in your position. So tell me a little bit about when that started for you. Did you excel in school? Was it just kind of this entrepreneurship spirit that you have? Tell me a little bit about where that comes from.
I guess, I could say it started in school. I was always a straight A student when it went on there. So I was kind of like the nerdy cool kid. As things worked out because I rode dirt bikes and bicycles and did all that kind of stuff, but I was also really good at science, math, engineering. I love those kind of classes. Those are my favorite. I enjoyed going to school. I wasn't the high school kid everybody's like, I can't wait to get out of here. I
Right.
thoroughly enjoyed it. I love challenging myself.
Love learning.
Yeah, I love learning. Still do to this day. I love reading
We are
books.
not the same person.
Hey,
But
I
that's
understand
okay. It
each
takes all
person,
kinds.
but I still love sports too. So it kind of was unique in that aspect where it's like I can talk to somebody about it, almost anything, and I feel like that's really helped me out throughout my career and different job paths and stuff. But yeah, really love school, so that kind of helped. And then with my stepdad being an entrepreneur and just other people just kind of having that entrepreneurial spirit. I remember being a little kid saying, I don't even know how to pronounce this word, but that's what I want to do.
That's awesome.
And just kind of understanding that was never going to really get ahead working for somebody else. That the best thing to do is to take a little bit of risk, try to do some things on your own. And I'd rather fail at that than to be sitting here wishing, well, I wish I would have.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So-
Well, and I have a confession because I consider myself an entrepreneur, but I don't know how to spell it. So I
don't
have
think
to,
I do either.
I have to speak it into my phone, and that's how I say it because I don't know.
I'm the Indian here, and we're really good at spelling, as you can see from the past spelling bees. And so I can spell entrepreneur,
How
but
do you
that's
spell
because
Come on.
ENTREAPR.
I'm just kidding. I don't know, but
I
someone
lost
check
my
her
space.
because
I lost my
if she's
space.
gonna mic drop her spelling bee,
PRENEUR.
sure. I won't know if
Duh.
you got it right.
We're going to look it up before it airs. So did you said you like to read books. Did you get involved in investing by reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Dave Ramsey stuff? What did you read?
Yeah, when it came to the investing, was definitely Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the first one. And I think I was given that book when I was maybe 13 years old.
Wow.
So just kind of starting there at a younger age. And that's something I'm really looking forward to with my daughter, of teaching her things that you don't always learn in school. Because that was the biggest thing that book teaches you, is like, hey, how money works. That's a tool, that it's not your lifeline, that you have to use it as a tool and utilize it, how leverage works, how to control your assets and liabilities and all that stuff. So when you're younger, and as you start to get 18 and stuff like that, and they're sending you all these credit cards, I'm not just swiping for a new TV, a new Xbox, and all this other stuff, that people wanted.
But
we're not supposed
at
to
13 reading that, I'm thinking like when I was 13, I was like reading Goosebumps and Captain Underpants, and you're over here reading books that like
Captain Underpants.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well,
yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Oh, it's just cool. Anyone who's ever read the book, it's a very easy read,
really
and it's entertaining.
It's an easy read.
So it wasn't that hard for me to do that. And then when the whole family was doing it too, my mom was doing it, stepdad, everybody was doing it. It just made it easier. And then we expanded more into some of his other books, and then also other real estate books, emerging real estate markets, time in the real estate market, how to fix and flip, buy your first home, things like that. Not so much on the Dave Ramsey side. I do like a lot of what Dave Ramsey has to say, but he's not always so much on the full-blown investing as he is like how the rich dad would be. But so
I
trying to have a good balance
any of the
between
stuff he says about like budgets and like not spending money, and I just I agree with most of it, but not that.
Really?
Not that part.
Hey, spending money is fun. I mean, it is fun, but you got to make sure you have it in balance.
I have been debt free several times, but it keeps coming
I
back.
can get like whatever I want. I just swipe it, and
It's not even real money.
Daddy, can I have money? People need money. They're asking me to pay my bills.
Well, one of the things that Ann and I've done, worked really hard because of Ann, because she threatened to kill me, is getting towards the debt-free part. So while I screwed up the first 30 years of my life, the second 30 have been pretty cool.
I'm working on it. We're working on it, but it's hard owning, like the personal side of it, I'm pretty good, but the business side of it is tough. You always need money to operate your business. And so that's where I struggle a little bit, but I'm working on it.
That's where that budget word comes in.
Well, I'm married, so I have to control myself and another human, which is impossible.
You could do what Bill and I did and just marry someone.
Like, what did you and Bill do? What did you and Bill do?
We married people with a good credit score.
Oh, okay.
He drove a Prius, and he's looking to save the environment, but also then I later found out that he was actually just looking for that MPG, and so yeah, that's just marry
miles
someone
per
with those
gallon.
attributes.
I was like, what's MPG? I need more coffee. Okay, so the other question I wrote down, because I think it's important for you to pass along what you know. And like you said, you're already excited to teach your daughter who is 3 months old. I know that's going to take some time, but what advice do you have for other young adults or other young adults that want to get started in something like you're doing?
Well, I think the most important thing, that looking back, that if I could go back and redo, because I've never been perfect. We're making this sound like, hey, I was just on the straight and narrow. I had a job before. I bought really expensive vehicles and different stuff like that, and it was just one of those things of, it didn't actually make me any happier as a person. It didn't get me any farther ahead. So when I realized that, hey, these are the goals, really sit down and see where you want to be financially. Like, what is your long-term goals? And then find a budget, live within that budget, and continue to grow from there. So I think that was the most important thing, was just like keeping up with the Joneses, as they say, isn't worth it.
Yeah.
It's nothing but a bunch of hassle. It'll drive you crazy.
Amen.
There's nothing worse. When I was 21, I had a sales job before, and I went out and bought a brand new F-150, loaded everything. And, after about 3 months of paying $800 a month for that, I'm like, I hate this truck.
Is Michael listening to this? My husband. Hello, Michael Padgett. Just if you're listening to this, if you will, let me know.
Yeah,
he has a really nice new truck, which I do
it was
like,
beautiful.
but...
Which you thought it was nice, and I thought, I'm like, man, that's gonna make me so happy. And after doing it, I'm like, I'm not any happier. And when I had it for 2 years or so, I sold it, lost all the money that I owed on it, and everything else, because you're upside down the second you drive off the lot with it. And I bought a $12,000 cash Silverado, and I still own that to this day.
Nice.
And I love that truck. I'm like, I'm just as happy driving this little basic Silverado around as I was driving this big Cadillac of a F-150 around. So
I will tell you that when you pay a car off, it drives totally different. Like my car drives
great.
Yes.
Well, there's another thing here too. You're driving a Chevy, which is always going to drive better than a Ford.
Amen.
It is. We're a full-blown GM family now. So I have my little ATS that I use for my real estate business that we paid for cash. Didn't go finance anything. And then I have my little Silverado, and then my wife has a Blazer to haul the kid around. So.
Awesome.
So both of my grandpas retired from GM, so that's a must. But Michael went and bought a Ford.
Yeah. Christmas
I know.
will be interesting.
He did that to himself. So, well, my grandpas are dead.
Oh,
But
sorry.
So
Sorry, Gramps.
I have a question. When we were talking earlier, you were talking about mountain biking.
Yeah.
Which intrigued me because I'm in the process of buying a mountain bike.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I think mine's a different type of mountain bike. So my wife, we're RVing now, so we're buying e-bikes.
What is is that like an iBike? Is
No,
this
it's
like
an electric bike. You push a button.
I was gonna say you can't just like make your play a game.
No,
riding a bike and all.
Are you getting a Peloton?
No, I have a Peloton.
Oh my god.
So do you use the Peloton? The Peloton's not good enough. Now you need to get. Are you just finding new ways to spend your money?
No, I'm not.
Because if you want, I can find.
This is why your insurance is going up.
No, I'm going to do exactly what Tyler's doing, except where he's going down the road working hard. I'm going to push a button.
Using a bike to actually get a workout.
Why don't you just get a hover round?
Yeah, that's true. That's what you need. Hover around.
It's
hover
less
around,
risk.
hover around, hover
It's
around.
less risk. It has good resale value.
You can't fall and get
wheels.
You can't fall and not get up.
Yeah, don't forget
You'll
the
be fine.
storage space up front where
Yep.
you can put all those things that he
you
needs.
can have a basket for all your things.
A basket. That's what I
Yes.
need is a basket.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyways, tell us about your mountain biking.
All right. Well, I have a specialized mountain bike. I love going out and riding the trails. It's something for me. I've just always enjoyed being on two wheels. I grew up my whole life racing motorcycles, and I don't like breaking bones anymore. So I got rid of the motor and just get something I have to pedal, and it makes go a little bit slower, stay a little bit lower to the ground. It's a lot safer that way, and also just something to stay in shape with. But we have some really beautiful trails out here. They run through a lot of nice creeks, a lot of nice wooded areas.
All the trees we have here.
Yeah, all the beautiful trees. I know you want to joke on me about that, but go live in Phoenix for your whole life, and you come out here, you're like, oh, it's green. There's another color to the sky besides just brown. But so it's just something I just always have enjoyed, and it's more like an escape for me. And it's a bonus that you get a workout on it.
Are mountain bikes like? Oh, sorry, I didn't.
No,
mean
you're
that.
fine.
Are mountain bikes like the thing that you find yourself like willing to splurge on? There's always like that one thing that's like, oh, I'm really into watches. I'm gonna splurge on that. What is your?
I have a few.
What is your thing?
Well, I mean, I guess anybody who knows anything about airplanes, that would be the first one. So that's why I'm so thankful for the club that I'm a part of, that we can share expenses and it doesn't bankrupt our family by trying to have that hobby. Mountain bikes, the same thing. Good quality bike and good quality gear makes a big difference. It's one of those things that the more money you spend, the easier it actually gets. It's crazy how it does that. And then, you mentioned watches. That's my one guilty pleasure of like material item. I don't really do any other jewelry or anything. Like my wife has earrings and necklaces and all this other stuff. I just like watches. Those are my favorite things. So.
I just like food.
Food?
Oh, yeah,
That's
me
what I
too.
spend a lot of my money on, I feel like.
Yeah, I swear. I love to cook.
And you do get a return. As you can see, there is a
Carrying
return.
it around every day.
Yeah, no, I understand how that goes. It's like every time I go to the grocery store, I see all these amazing ingredients. I'm like, oh, I want to cook that. So we're not very big at eating out, but we cook all the time. And I'm like, well, I think I spend just as much money as we would eating out, because we're always trying to do these extravagant things in the kitchen.
Eating so much healthier.
Oh, so much cleaner. And I get my wife involved and different stuff like that. And we already have the baby in her little rocking chair sitting in the kitchen with us. I'm like, hey, you're going to be up here in no
That's
time,
so
making these things.
Oh, I'm sure that you're also
right
like
there, so.
setting her up to know how to invest. Instead of white noise at night, she's hearing like 401k.
Yeah.
IRA.
We're doing baby Mozart right now, but that'll be next.
Wow, that is fantastic. So as you're looking at everything else that you have, let's go back to your rentals for a few minutes.
course.
So you've got tenants in them. How's the market? Are rents increasing right now, or are they stagnating? What are they doing?
Well, throughout the typical market, they've gone up quite a bit. And being on the real estate side of things now, we see them. They're even getting into bidding wars with tenants. Where people are like, hey, I'll pay more than what the rent's expected, just like how they're going over ask on houses. So, but with my personal tenants that we have, we've actually tried to be very fair. I don't try to be a greedy person when it comes to, raising the rents on them every single month, because I know them, you build a relationship over them. And that's, I guess, the one. It's good and bad when it comes to professional management. Professional management, you're going to make sure you get top dollar all the time. But here, I love some of these people. Like, right. I have, the people in the house I talked about that my grandma helped me get, they've been living in there for like 7 years. And, we increase it when we have to when taxes go up. But yeah, I haven't really hiked up any of mine. We try to be fair to people. My whole goal in this is to provide good, clean, affordable housing to people. It's not to run a slumlord, and just kind of go through all this stuff. But it's also not to just take people over the coals and get as much money as you possibly can. I'm looking for the long-term, asset appreciation, the equity that comes from them. So as long as they're making money, they're cash flowing, they're paying the bills and expenses, I'm happy with it. But
I love that.
Well, and you have properties in Arizona and Texas?
No, just in Texas.
Just in Texas. Okay.
Yeah, we have moved the Arizona ones.
Okay. And do you see a big difference in that market, or are you kind of removed from the Arizona market now?
Pretty removed from it now, but I do have some friends who are, building houses. I got a friend who's a realtor out there who does a really good job. So their market has been crazy, like how ours is now, for like the last 10 years. So we're finally starting to catch up here in Texas to what Arizona was like, because it was a mass exodus from California. It seems, at least, and they all started going to Arizona. Now they're like, oh, it's getting super expensive here, so let's go to Texas.
Let's go to Texas.
Now, you just mentioned some, though, that I think is worth talking about. It's not good to manage a house that you're managing yourself that's in another state. In fact, if you can't drive to see your house in a reasonable period of time and you're managing, it's pretty difficult to do.
No, I 100% agree about that. All of our property are in Ellis County. They're in Ennis, Waxahachie, Red Oak. All of them are. I can drive by them all the time. There's some that are right by my house. I do just a quick drive by, make sure lawns are being mowed, they're not burnt down, so that makes a huge difference. So if anybody wants to buy a rental property, if you're going to not always start in your backyard, start with the area because that's the safest. The reason why I love investment properties is it's the safest investment, I feel. You can't take it away,
Ding, ding.
Yeah, ding, ding.
Well, that ding on track is telling us it's time for the next segment. And we've got a little segment we call Tales from the Lockbox.
Okay, so I found this online and it made me laugh pretty hard, and it has to do with real estate since we're all realtors here. So it says a couple arrives from an open house and it's jam-packed. The couple swoon over the house's architecture, the layout, the upgrades. They've never seen an open house with such decadent catering. Y'all might be able to see where this one's going. Elegantly dressed buyers, and they text their agent and give the agent a thumbs up, just saying, this might be the one. So their agent had sent them to this open house because they were in from out of town. They couldn't really find much as it goes. And so all of a sudden, the listing agent approaches them and they say, this is a lovely house. Please tell the seller that we're interested and we're impressed. We think this might be the one. And the agent, who they think is the agent, says, well, who are you? And they say, well, we're here for the open house. And this is indeed an open house. The agent, again in quotes, agent replies, but this is for my friends and family. I'm actually the new owner of this property. So these people, completely embarrassed, had just crashed a housewarming party, assuming that this house was for sale. So they quickly just put down their plates of probably caviar or whatever was being served and slithered out. I cannot imagine looking at a house. They probably toured the entire property.
They probably had never even been to an open house, because if they got there, it was
nice.
like, oh, hey.
Yeah, why is there caviar here?
But you know what? I go back, I think about parties that I've been at or even hosted, and because we have family reunions all the time, and I don't know half the people that are there.
Oh,
they
yeah,
could totally
that's very
just
true.
be there for the chicken.
Our wedding was huge, because we're Indian, so our wedding had like 600 people, and half the people that would come up and say hi to us, we would just be like, is that your family? Is that my... Hey, nice to see you. Thank you so much.
Those were totally wedding crashers.
Yeah, they just drove down the street and said,
as long as you're Indian and you're just walk in, no one's going to be any the wiser. Just
Would Sarah and I pass?
Probably not.
Not
You'd
together.
have to tan a little
They would
bit.
think that you were like sugar daddy.
They'd be mistaken. On that, I think...
Or that you're just my daddy.
On that, I think we probably should level up. Jaisy?
Yes, we need some help here. This is a quote that I found online that I thought was really great. It says, people who can't be honest with themselves may not have the ability to be honest with you. People who are critical of themselves may be quick to judge you. People who suppress their emotions may not be able to handle your emotions. Sometimes it's them, not you. It's difficult sometimes for people to kind of like meet you where they can't put themselves. So knowing that's really important, because you may have a relationship where you're seeking support or validation or help in, but then in those conversations with these people, you leave feeling judged and hurt and a lack of compassion. So sometimes you have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, am I carrying this? Is this mine or theirs? Because everyone you may know may not be equipped to support you. So something that you need to know is sometimes it's them and not
I think
you.
it's always them.
Yeah.
It makes
We're
my
like
life
really,
easier.
we're the best people. Why would we ever make
It's
a
not me,
mistake?
it's you. Well, and Tyler, so I know you're pretty new in real estate, right? How long have you been licensed?
Got my license in March of this year.
So do you have has anything crazy happened to you yet?
Nothing crazy like that situation that has
Okay.
happened. From my network, I've had other investor friends that I've kind of become their point of contact realtors. So I guess the craziest thing is just some of the houses that we go see are just, my goodness, some of them don't even have floors in them. Some of them are just, everything's ripped out of them and stuff like that. So you just walk in there and you're like, I don't even want to walk. I'm like, hey, you like it? Good? Okay, I'll be out by the car if you need anything. But nothing crazy with like other people or stuff like
Just
that yet.
wait.
Just
I know.
wait.
I heard.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait for it. You know.
Yeah,
So
some
Keep a
crazy stuff.
notebook because you're going to find all kinds of things.
Yep.
Well, I've got to tell you, this has been a great time this morning sitting here talking with Tyler.
Learned
and
a lot.
I'm going to go
learning a
pay off
ton.
some debt.
Yeah. It's
Right now.
certainly motivating. One of the things that I would ask everybody listening to do is please go like us. Tell us what you think about our show on any
If
podcast
it's nice.
form.
Yes.
You know, even if it's not, we've got thick skin. I want to hear your feedback. Let us know what you think. Share our podcast. Let's get more people involved. Tyler, thanks for being here today. We out.
Bye.
thanks for having me.
Just had a chat, talk this and that with BB and Jaisy.